Welcome back to Bringing the Zoo to You. I want to introduce you to one of my friends. Here is an African giant millipede, and he's one of our education ambassadors here at Rolling Hills Zoo. He has a very important job in the African rainforest. He is a detritivore, and what that means is he feeds on the plant matter, the dead plant matter and the dead animals in the rainforest. So he has a very important job, and that is because if nothing eats that, it would just sit on the rainforest floor and it would suffocate everything in the rainforest. So he provides a pretty important job. They have a couple different really cool adaptations. Basically, they can taste with any part of their body because they have terrible eyesight. If you think about the rainforest floor, there's not a whole lot of light down on the forest floor, so they don't really need to see very well. So they use their little antennae, and then they use their taste senses and their legs to feel just about everything. So these guys are one of my favorite creepy crawlies to introduce to people. If people are brave enough to have them walk across the backs of their hands, then I certainly encourage it, because it's actually just like a little tiny tickle on the back, and when they're picked up from your hand, it's just a gentle Velcro that gets picked up. And so it's pretty cool in that nature. Another one of their really cool adaptations is they actually can curl into a very tight spiral, and any predators that would try to get to them are going to leave them alone because they don't want the challenge of trying to get through that hard exoskeleton. The other one is they can actually secrete a foul-tasting liquid out of their spores. Now, I don't know if you guys can see them or not. They're pretty tiny, but sometimes on some of them you can. You can't really see on this guy. You can sometimes see their spiracles on the side. And what the spiracles are is they actually can breathe through their pores on the side. So they not only breathe through their mouth, but they also breathe through their sides. So it's very important for them to stay clean. So they have actually a partnership with little mites that would live on them in the African rainforest, and that helps them stay clean, and they provide a food for the mites, and the mites don't harm them in the rainforest. Now these guys actually molt. So these here are pieces of a molt. They typically molt in one piece, but these are just broken apart from having them in a box that we use for these guys. But they actually molt within 12 hours of being hatched from an egg, and they'll molt about 7 to 10 times before they reach adulthood. Now we can try to measure this guy here if he stays still long enough. Let's see if he'll let me measure him. He is going to be about, give or take, about 6 inches. Now that seems like a really big millipede, but they can actually get to the full size of a ruler, which is 12 inches, even some of them up to 15 inches, which is just a little bit longer than a ruler. So they can get really big, and they can get as big around as your thumb. Now millipede means 1,000 legs, but these guys typically have anywhere between 300 and 400, sometimes if they're really large, up to 750 legs. Now I actually haven't stopped to count all of his legs, and if you guys want, I encourage you to try to count. So they have, if you can count these segments on these guys, they have 4 legs per segment. Now the segment is actually these little ridges in between. Each one of those is considered a segment. So he has 4 legs per each one of those little segments. So just in between there is considered a segment. So if you guys have any other questions that I may not have told you about our friend here, the African giant millipede, then I encourage you to comment below. We'll be happy to answer those questions for you. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.